This is about the Maya civilization, which mastered mathematics, astronomy, and loved playing full-fledged football several thousand years ago. How is that possible? Today I will tell you about this mysterious people. Where did they come from? Where did they go? And why did they possess knowledge that still astonishes scientists today? And in the end, you will see the insane modifications they often made to their appearance. The Maya civilization indeed left behind many mysteries and questions that continue to intrigue scientists and researchers to this day. I myself am eager to delve into this matter. Their ability to build majestic pyramids, create exquisite ceramic objects, and develop one of the most accurate calendars in human history is mind-boggling. The Maya were heirs and continuers of the traditions of early cultures, such as Olmecs and Zapotecs, which contributed to the formation of their unique civilization. The Maya script, which allowed them to leave records on the walls of buildings and other surfaces, is key to understanding their history and culture. How extensive were their tribes? Over 1,000 cities and numerous small settlements have been discovered, indicating the scale and complexity of this civilization. So where did they disappear to? For example, one of the largest cities, Tikal, was abandoned due to water poisoning with mercury, which got into the water from rainwater due to the use of mercury-containing paints. This is just one example of how foolish mistakes nearly destroyed such an advanced civilization. Later on, I will tell you more about where they disappeared to. Initially, the Maya chose warm and favorable territories for their habitation, which today are located within Mexico and Central America. Their amazing architectural achievements, including majestic pyramids and complex urban planning, continue to amaze scientists and tourists, especially on the Yucatan Peninsula, as well as in countries such as Guatemala, Honduras, and Panama. The Maya tribes did not form a single centralized state or empire. Instead, their civilization consisted of many city-states, each with its own power and rulers. For a long time, it was believed that the Maya were peaceful farmers, but subsequent archaeological finds and research have shown that conflicts and wars over territories, resources, and power often arose between city-states, although originally representing one ethnicity. The first Maya tribes emerged in the Yucatan Peninsula, as historians now believe. True, there are various theories about the time of their emergence, but many studies indicate a period between 7000 and 2000 BCE, when the first hunters and gatherers began to settle down and form permanent settlements. The transition to agriculture, especially the cultivation of maize, became a key moment in the development of Maya culture. This allowed the people to provide themselves with a more stable and predictable food source, which in turn contributed to population growth, social complexity, and creation of large cities. Maize, beans, and squash became the basis of their diet, providing necessary nutrition and the opportunity to engage in other activities not directly related to food procurement. When you're fed, why not start delving into architecture, astronomy, mathematics, and writing? Maya cities were not only centers of cultural and religious life, but also testified to high technological achievements, including the development of complex water purification and supply systems. Military art also played an important role in Maya history. As I mentioned earlier, after solving the issue of supplies, people wanted power and entertainment. Women in Maya society played a role that formally resembled the position of women in other ancient cultures, but in reality, it had unique features different from the norms of the old world. The process of civilization, which led the Maya from nomadic tribes to city-states, influenced the change in the role of women in their society. In the early stages of development, matriarchal cults predominated, which later became the basis of the Maya religious system. In the new hierarchy, women held a high position due to their sacred significance as guardians of the hearth and progenitors of the lineage. The importance of astronomy in Maya culture and the association of the moon with the female principle allowed women to conduct rituals on moonlit nights and gather crowds of followers around them. Otherwise, everything was quite ordinary. Men were engaged in producing provisions, while women cooked, tended the hearth, and gave birth to children. Despite rare cases of female rulership, Maya history knows examples when women became full-fledged leaders in the cities of Tikal, Naranjo, Piedras Negras, and El Perro. Well, of course I must tell you about family nuances. In Maya society, marriage played an important and stable role, differing from some aspects observed among the Greeks and Romans. For example, the absence of legalized polygamy. The Maya established the marriage age at around 18 for men and 14 for girls, and marriage agreements could be made by parents even when the children were infants. In Maya culture, there was no practice of the rite of the first night, characteristic of some other cultures. On the contrary, if a man entered into a relationship with a married woman, he could be handed over to her husband, who had the right to decide his fate. After getting married, the son would move to live in the bride's house and work for her family for about 5 years. Divorces in Maya society were possible, but not encouraged, and serious grounds were required for their initiation, such as the absence of children. Bishop Diego de Landa, one of the European colonizers, noted that the elders of society did not approve of divorces, but also did not impose direct prohibitions on them. The history of the Maya is usually divided by scholars into 3 main periods, each characterized by its unique features and achievements. The pre-classic period covers the era from the beginning of the Maya civilization to 317 AD. During this time, they laid the foundations of their society, beginning the construction of the first city-states. They developed slash-and-burn agriculture, which allowed them to grow maize, beans, and other crops. The Maya also began to produce textiles, including cotton, indicating the development of crafts and trade during this period. The classic period, from 317 to 987 AD, was a time of flourishing Maya civilization. This era saw outstanding achievements in architecture, astronomy, mathematics, and art. The Maya created a complex astronomical system and a calendar that still astounds with its accuracy. During this time, magnificent temples and pyramids were built, which served not only as religious centers, but also symbolized the power and greatness of Maya rulers. However, by the end of this period, the decline of many large cities began, attributed to various internal and external factors, including climate change, wars, and overpopulation. The post-classic period, from 987 AD to the 16th century, is characterized by the gradual decline of Maya culture and the influence of external forces, including the arrival of Spanish conquistadors. During this time, the Maya continued to build cities and develop their traditions, but under the influence of new political and economical realities. The arrival of the Spaniards with their advanced military art, firearms, and diseases to which the local population had no immunity led to catastrophic consequences for the Maya and other indigenous peoples of America. But let me tell you about the merits of this great people, and I'll start with religion. It was characterized by a high degree of diversity and depth. The tribes worshipped 150 different deities, each responsible for a specific aspect of life or natural phenomenon. Hunhunapku, the god of maize, occupied a central place in their pantheon because with food, other prospects open up. According to their religion, a person consists of mud, wood, and, finally, maize. Apparently, that was about the male part. Practices of bloodletting and human sacrifice, though raising many questions, were an important part of their rituals, more related to communication with ancestors than appeasing the gods. Maya art reached an incredibly high level of development in the classic period, leaving behind magnificent frescoes, sculptures, and other art objects. Maya architecture, despite the lack of knowledge about the wheel and iron processing, amazes with its sophistication and grandeur, as seen in temples and pyramids connected by a complex road system. In the fields of astronomy and mathematics, the Maya achieved significant success, building observatories for observing the stars and developing a complex calendar system, including the famous long count calendar, which gave rise to many myths and assumptions about the end of the world in 2012. Maya medical knowledge was also surprisingly advanced. They practiced complex surgical operations, used anesthesia, and even engaged in dentistry, indicating a deep understanding of anatomy and medicine. Sports, especially the ball game, were not only entertainment, but also an important ritual, symbolizing cosmic cycles and the struggle between worlds. This game was associated with Maya religious beliefs about the afterlife, and, according to some reports, could end with the sacrifice of the losing team. Ugh, awful. The decipherment of Maya script, which remained one of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world for a long time, became possible thanks to the efforts of the Soviet scientist Yuri Knorozov. His work on deciphering the hieroglyphic writing system of the Maya was a key moment in understanding the history and culture of this ancient civilization. Interestingly, Knorozov never physically visited America and conducted all his research in post-war Leningrad, relying on photographs and copies of ancient texts. Knorozov managed to establish that Maya writing consists of a complex combination of logograms and phonograms, where some symbols represent whole words or concepts, while others represent individual sounds or syllables. He revealed that the Maya writing system contains more than 355 different signs, each of which plays its role in conveying information. This discovery significantly advanced the understanding of the texts left by Maya on stones, ceramics, and paper made by them. According to the legends of the tribes, their knowledge and writing were given to them by a fair-haired god who came from the sea, adding an even more mystical touch to the history of this people. Who was this fair-haired one, and why a god? There are many versions, from Jesus to aliens. We can only guess. And of course, the main question that arises for me is, where did they actually disappear to? The decline of the Maya civilization, which began in the 9th century and reached its peak by the mid-10th century, remains one of the most intriguing mysteries in human history. This period is characterized by a rapid decline in population, cessation of stone construction, abandonment of cities, and destruction of previously developed water supply systems. Archaeological research shows that many cities, such as Tikal, were abandoned by their inhabitants in 950 AD. Historians and archaeologists still debate the reasons for such a catastrophic event, offering several theories. One of the most plausible versions points to drought, which could have been fatal for the civilization, especially considering that this period was marked by a sharp decrease in precipitation in the region inhabited by large tribes. This led to water and food shortages, which, combined with an influx of refugees, led to social disintegration and mass migration of the population into the jungles in search of new sources of sustenance. It is also possible that internal conflicts and wars, known for their brutal martial traditions, could have contributed to the society's destruction. The Maya, known for their brutal martial traditions, may have reached a point where internal conflicts and wars between city-states led to the collapse of economic and social ties within the civilization. Add to this the diseases brought by colonizers, and the puzzle begins to come together. And I just have to tell you about the legacy of these great people. The Pyramid of Kukulkan, located in Chichen Itza, with a height of 80 feet and 9 steps, is a living testament to the astronomical knowledge and architectural mastery of the Maya. During the equinoxes, you can observe a unique phenomenon here: the illusion of a serpent descending the steps of the pyramid, demonstrating the Maya's connection to celestial bodies and calendar cycles. The Temple of the Inscriptions in Palenque, reaching 74 feet in height, differs from other pyramids in Mexico in its purpose. It was built as a tomb for the ruler Pacal. The temple walls are adorned with hieroglyphs depicting the life of the city and its ruler, and inside is a sarcophagus with precious ornaments, discovered only in the 20th century. Uxmal, known as the 3 times built, is an outstanding religious center in the Yucatan. Especially notable here are the Pyramid of the Magician and the Great Pyramid, as well as the Palace of the Governor, richly decorated with mosaics and sculptures. Another pyramid worth visiting is located in Coba, El Castillo, 135 feet tall, adorned with an altar on the top, reached by 120 steps. Next to this city are long roads, the longest of which stretches for 62 miles, indicating the developed transportation network of the Maya. And of course, the Acropolis in Quirigá, which stands out for its zoomorphic monuments and the use of red sandstone in construction. Here, many stelae, monuments, and altars have been preserved, and the Acropolis itself consists of palaces, sanctuaries, and administrative buildings adorned with images of wild animals. These architectural monuments not only demonstrate the outstanding achievements of the Maya in art and urban planning, but also continue to attract the attention of tourists and researchers from around the world eager to explore the heritage of one of the most remarkable ancient civilizations. And as promised, I'll tell you about their rather extravagant appearance. The Maya civilization truly stood out for its unique beauty standards and traditions, which may seem unusual or even extreme to us. Head shaping using tongues immediately after childbirth to give it a more rounded shape is one such example. This was done based on the belief in an ideal of beauty valued in their society. Tooth modification, including filing teeth into triangular shapes and embedding them with colored stones, was a popular procedure, especially among women, adding charm to their smiles. Oh my! Additionally, the Maya valued cross-eyedness, as one of their main gods, Itzamna, was depicted that way. Special methods were used from early childhood to achieve this effect. Tattoos, scarification, and piercing were also an important part of Maya aesthetics. Elaborate patterns and designs tattooed on the skin carried specific meanings and served as adornments. By the way, ethnic Maya patterns are currently a trend in tattoo studios. It's sad that this civilization never received further development, but it's a vivid example for us that even when at a fairly advanced stage of development, humanity can lose everything. Thanks for watching.